First of all, let us underscore some facts. 150,000 spaza shops in South Africa, accounting for 178 billion. A significant share of that 178 billion that spaza shops account for is rent. Who's that rent going to? In Soweto, in Mamelodi, in the townships. It's going to South Africans. South Africans are the ones that are collecting rent from the Somalis, from the Pakistanis, and so on and so forth. It's a shared economy. What we must never allow is that that particular market must not be regulated. It must be regulated, and people must not sell expired food. We must be very hard. And secondly, there must be documenting of anybody in South Africa, because how else do you plan if you don't know how many people? That will be irresponsible. EFF is certainly for documentation. We've got to know who you are, where do you come from. And this documentation would, by the way, be very easy if there was regional cooperation and integration, because you wouldn't do crime here and run to Zimbabwe. We have your database. We would have a database of all Southern Africans, including their DNA database. We would be able to catch you anywhere and punish you for the crimes that you commit. But what we're saying is 4 trillion rands, 178 billion. From 1955, our people have always known townships are a spatial creation, a geospatial creation of the apartheid regime, to trap black people living on top of each other, overcrowded, fighting from the crumbs that fall from the master's table. It's already a sign of landlessness, that you are abandoning the rest of the land to who? To 7% of the population. If there's going to be an economic success to the South African story, we've got to have a conversation about 178 billion minus 4 trillion rands. The rest of the economy still belongs to us. The banks, the land, which includes the mines, which includes the farms, and the entire economic activity. We have known since 1955 in the Freedom Charter that for true equality to emerge, you've got to disarticulate the township, give our people land, so that there's no overcrowded of 80% of the population living in like 20% of the land. We can't accept that, and we shouldn't be forced to accept that reality. Obviously, we believe in small and medium enterprises. But the small and medium enterprises of tomorrow under the EFF government are in charge, are engaged in the production of goods. So you know who's interesting in the townships? It's those mothers that are doing textile, who are doing curtains. Immediately when the EFF government takes over, those are the people who are going to give them school uniform contracts, for them to do school uniform from the kids, for them to do the prison uniforms, for them to do the police uniforms, for them to do... We've got a small and medium enterprises plan. It is far larger than retail. It has to do with the production in the mainstream of goods that are being consumed in the economy by government, by the rest of the consumers, and that can even get into the markets in the continent and the rest of the world. Well, as South Africans, we must be honest. As a Pakistan, you can't leave Pakistan, take a garage yomuntu by force in Soweto. These are tenants. All of those foreign national spaza shops, they're paying rent in Soweto. It's a business. It's a business opportunity for the people of Soweto themselves. How do you deal with an economy? The South African problem of unemployment is chronic. Unemployment has been part of the South African reality since the late 1980s. Two, is because there's been deindustrialization and over-financialization of the South African economy. There are no factories. I mean, this joke of Panyaza, of Nancy Spani. You know what is that? Nancy Spani is like the food parcels in Mzwandile that you used to distribute there when you were a mayor during elections. After elections, they are gone.
Stop gossip.
All those jobs, it's not gossip, it's fact. All those jobs are going to disappear before the end of the year because they are not jobs. What and how are we going to create jobs, Clement? Two things. One, we've got to build internal state capacity to deliver the state services. Do away with the tenders. In-source the workers. The people who build roads must be employed on a full-term contract. They must build and maintain roads. initiate mega infrastructure projects through, for an example, build, operate and transfer contracts that you can enter with countries like China, Russia, even the Europeans. Secondly, import substitution. As early as the 1800s, the United States historically was not always the most powerful economy in the world. You can go check the economic history of the US. The basic policy that allowed them to overtake Europe is what they called protection of infant industries. You've got to literally say the following products we can produce locally. And I give an example with one product. All the plastic products in South Africa, why are they produced from China? Because in the process of turning coal into petrol, Sasol has a byproduct of plastic. That plastic goes into Europe, goes into Indonesia, goes into China, comes back as a chair, as fork and knife, as Tupperware. Yeah. You've got to implement import substitution, protect infant industries in the plastic sector, open the factories for the goods that we are consuming in the economy. That's how